are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Hey guys, it's Brian from the Star Wars Canon Library, and you heard the man, there were stories, and they're all true. Just giving you guys a heads up, I'm going to make this video as quickly as I can. I'm actually not feeling real great. That's all I can do to not just cough in all of your guys' faces right now. So I'm going to make this as short and simple and to the point as I can. But this is my review of this past week's episode of Star Wars Rebels through Imperial eyes. We got the first glimpse at this episode. Excuse me. We got the first glimpse of this episode about a week ago. And also, I wanted to tell you guys, I'm very sorry for this video being as late as it is. My internet went down on Friday. I couldn't watch Rebels. I just now finished watching it. So I just now got the internet back up and running. So I'm very sorry for the lull in content. But anyway, on to the episode. Now, we got our first look at this episode like a week ago. And it was through like the first person point of view, excuse me, of Agent Kallus. You know, we saw him in the mirror look up from the sink, and I really thought the entire episode was going to be like that, and I would have been perfectly okay if it had been through the first person point of view. I thought that would have been a really cool dynamic, but they didn't do it, which is okay. They did it for the opening part of the episode. I still liked it. What we see in this episode is the Thrawn that we all wanted from the get-go when he was first introduced into the new canon. And cold, calculating, attention to detail, being able to pinpoint exactly. Because when I read Heir to the Empire, excuse me, which is obviously no longer canon, that we know of. That's weird. Anyway, I don't even use Skype. I don't know why that popped up. When I read Heir to the Empire for the first time, the way he was able to Thrawn, the way he was able to pinpoint certain details just based off of certain things, you know, I loved it. It was freaking awesome, you know, and just it blew my mind at how ingenious this man was. Now we're starting to see that in this episode. Throughout so far, we've seen kind of bits and pieces of it and glimpses into his genius, but we've never really seen anything that showed that this is the Thrawn from Heir to the Empire, and now we have seen it, and I'm so excited to see where this season ends up going. I cannot wait. I know we've got the big Obi-Wan and Maul thing coming up, but I'm focused on Thrawn at this point. Something else in this episode was the dynamic of Ezra and Kallus having to work together. Obviously not trusting each other very much, but still having to... Oh, Ezra is still trying to extract him. Excuse me. So, I mean, honestly, the story could have been shrunk down into a nutshell. The entire episode could. It could be shrunk down to literally Ezra goes to extract Kallus, and they pin it on somebody else. Really, I mean, they pin Fulcrum on somebody else. But the way they do it is just phenomenal. And then like I said, I just got done watching the episode, and when Thrawn turns around and looks at Yularen and says, "No, Kallus is Fulcrum," I actually pushed myself back from the desk like, "What? No way!" So, I really, really enjoyed this episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of the entire series so far. It still doesn't top that finale, though, of Season 2 for me with Ahsoka and Vader and, you know, the reintroduction of Maul. And, you know, I've really, really, really loved those episodes. And this one doesn't quite top it. It's close, in my personal opinion. For a 22-minute episode, I loved it. Guys, that's my review of Through Imperial Eyes, this week's episode of Rebels. I'm working on Aftermath right now. I'm like 2/3 of the way through Aftermath, Empire's End right now. I just haven't been feeling real well at all. This is actually the longest it's taken me to read a canon book in a while. I got it over a week ago. And I'm just now like 2/3, 3/4 of the way through it. So I'm going to power through that tonight since I don't have a lot going on. And, excuse me. I'll get the review out for that hopefully tomorrow sometime. I definitely want to finish it tonight and sleep on it and think about it for a while before I do my review. So, guys, also there was one thing I wanted to show you guys. All right, I was going to upload the video to the page, but I'd rather just show you guys this. One of the followers of the channel, Richard J, and I know I've already put this everywhere, and he's already told me stop crying like an idiot. You know, you're welcome. Don't worry about it. But this is really cool. Richard J is one of the followers of the page, and I talk to him all the time on Messenger. Me and him have become great friends. I never met the man in my life, but excuse me, he's one of my best friends. And he sent me something. Well, he asked me a couple weeks ago if the Star Wars Canon Library had a mailing address, and I told him, well, I guess it would be my home address. I just do it here, you know. So I gave it to him, and he said he sent out a package. I said to keep an eye out for it, and it got here the other day. And now I've got I guess you could call it an unboxing video on, I think it's Richard J's Facebook right now. But I wanted to show you guys what he had mailed to me. And this is the crown jewel of my entire Star Wars collection right now. First, I'm going to save the really cool one for last. They're both extremely cool, but I'm going to save the really cool one for last. He sent me one of these cards of Mike Quinn. Now, Mike Quinn is the man that played Nien Nunb. Nine Numb. How do you say his name, actually? I don't know. Anyway. I've got Mike Quinn on Facebook. He's responded to a couple of my messages. But I took a picture of this and the other thing and put it on my Facebook the other day, and he replied to it and said, I'm glad I went to a good home. But he sent me the autograph of Mike Quinn, who played Nine in Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, and then The Last Jedi. But then he also had this sent to me, and this is cool. This is an autographed picture of Darth Vader signed by David Prowse, made out to Brian Miller. This is insanely cool. This is the coolest thing I own in my Star Wars collection now. I'm getting these framed. I'm gonna have them right here on my desk next to my computer, so I can always stare at them. And they're freaking cool. I've never owned anything autographed by any Star Wars memorabilia autographed anyway. I've never owned anything like that. And this is insanely cool. This is one of the coolest things I've ever gotten in my life, if not the coolest thing I've ever received in my life from anybody. So I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Richard J for that. It's deeply appreciated, man. It really is. And they'll be taken care of. You have my word. And actually, I told Mike Quinn on Facebook that I was going to treat it like the Holy Grail. Or is that what I said? Yeah, the Holy Grail. I told him I'd treat it like the Holy Grail. So I'm going to get these framed. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think they're cool as hell. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get off here. I need to go take some NyQuil or something, or some Dayquil, and I'm going to sit and read my book. So, guys, until next time, this is Brian signing off, and may the Force be with you guys.